So the off-the-shelf product side to it is, it's an interesting thing because there's a couple of things that can happen with it. Number one is if you're not familiar with what's going on in golf balls and golf ball technology, and someone wants to sell you something, you may not even know what you're getting. So, one of the things that differentiates Snell Golf from some of the other independent companies is there's no question that we don't know what we have in these golf balls. The catalyst that we have in it, we know what level of cure we do for the urethane. We know the stoichiometry of the urethane, the compression of the golf balls, the flex modulus of the mantles, tensile strength and elongation of all the mantles. We know what's going on in here by design, and we know what materials to use. So I could tell you the formulations of each layer. I could tell you the formulations and hardnesses of each layer and cover. Cost breakdown, what it is, the compressions, the size weights, the physical properties, the velocity at different speeds that we test with, distance testing at different spin rates that we test with. So we do driver testing at 100, 120, 140, 160, and 180 miles an hour, 10 degrees, 12 degrees, 14 degree launch, and 2500, 2700, and 3200 spin. That's our driver portfolio to understand what makes something better with respect to performance. When you get into 8-iron spin rates, we start testing all different swing speed players, from ladies, seniors, ladies, all the way up to the tour type speeds, and understand what the difference of golf balls is. So if we put out something to say this golf ball has a higher spin with a 9-iron, it has a higher spin with the 9-iron. Yeah, that differentiation for us of delivering specs to our manufacturers to make the golf balls that we want versus the manufacturers delivering golf balls to us and not even telling us what the specs are is a big difference. So we control the performance that we want, they get the performance they get, so it's a big difference. The quality side to it's also a big issue. One of the benefits that I had working with TaylorMade over the years is being able to be overseas and put quality procedures in place. So having people test core batches and making sure that the specific gravity is right and making sure that the compression is within a spec range, and if it's not, the batch is rejected and gets put into something else. And then passing that batch on to the next one where the layer thicknesses are the right thickness molded, the temperatures change with melt flows, and understanding that process side to it. Those are the things that we create, we monitor, we test. We test compressions and hardnesses at each layer and quality. We test the thicknesses of each layer. We test the physical properties of the golf ball when they're finished. So the speed, the compression, the size, the weight. COR is part of the speed side to it. All of those things are physical property specs that we have before the balls leave the factory. So our quality control system is in place with technologies that have been put in place for a few years now that are used with some of the top companies in the world. So nothing's missed, and we rely on that quality. We have people in the factories that work reporting our quality to us to make sure that when they leave they're to the specs that we've given them. So there's a separation for us than just buying something that someone wants to offer. It'll work for a little while. It'll work if you price it ridiculous and then try to tell people that this is the performance. So one of the benefits that we have, and one of the things that we like, is that the testing validation is our validation. Someone can make a claim to say something is this, I got a new golf ball and it's going to be longer, it's going to be better, but there's no data, there's no testing, and we've been fortunate enough to have a lot of reviews be done by people and publish their own data, not ours. We have our own data. I could show you the data which shows you what the people are telling us, so I'm comfortable with that, but understanding that now that's being validated by the players, that's not presented from some of the other independent companies. So you can talk a lot and say stuff, but if you've got something to back it up, and we feel pretty comfortable that we can back up the quality, the design, the performance, the specs, we're pretty comfortable with that. It doesn't bother me that everybody gets lumped into the conversation of direct to consumer because that's the nature of how it is. In tour balls, people get lumped into the tour balls from Bridgestone, Callaway, Titleist, TaylorMade. You get put into the category that you're in, and that's okay. What I'm okay with is if somebody wants to go and say, hey, if someone wants to buy one of these other direct-to-consumer models that's out there, that could be an off-the-shelf kind of purchase thing. If someone wants to buy one of those models and go head to head and do the testing against it, we're comfortable with that, and we're comfortable with, you know, knowing that the performance that we have, even against some of the top models by the big manufacturers, the performance of the golf balls that we have is very good. So again, marketing and saying things are one thing. Having test data and having results that you can visibly see, you know, are a lot different.